The New York Islanders GM search continues, but now there are rumors that Lou Lamoriello could stay in the organization in an advisory capacity. We'll talk about that, plus a whole lot more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. I'm Gil Martin. I've been covering the New York Islanders for almost 2 decades, and I wrote the book Ice Wars on the history of the Islanders' rivalry with the Rangers from 1972 to the modern era. So glad you could join us to talk a little Islanders hockey today. And boy, the rumor mill heating up in a big way. We have so much to talk about. We're going to break down the GM search and the possibility that Lou Lamoriello could actually stay active in the Islanders organization. We'll talk about some announcements the Islanders made about the upcoming draft and about an event next season. Plus, we'll continue our player-by-player look at the Islanders with the season and future outlook for Semyon Varlamov. We have got to start with these rumors about Lou Lamoriello, and Arthur Staple, who does a really great job of covering the New York Islanders for The Athletic, put out a tweet on Thursday. And he basically has said he's going to tweet every 24 hours about the latest that he hears about the Islanders GM search. And basically on Thursday, the tweet read, nothing new on Holland, Gorton, or Bergevin. Possibility that Lou Lamoriello stays on as an advisor to the new GM could open the door to a first-time GM with Lou still around to guide. Stay tuned. After I got over the shock of reading that tweet, I have to say, I don't like it. And again, everydayers understand. I have a great deal of respect for what Lou Lamoriello has accomplished over the course of his career. And he's in the Hall of Fame for a reason, mostly for what he did with the New Jersey Devils in the 90s and early 2000s, pre-salary cap era. And I understand that if some of the Islanders' top prospects for the GM job, whether it's Ken Holland or somebody else, are ultimately not available or turn the Islanders down or whatever the case may be, they're not going to be the next GM of the New York Islanders. If that is the case, I understand that if you're hiring a guy who's never been a GM before, only been an assistant GM, that you want somebody out there who can help that person. You want, whether it's the team president or an advisor, I get it. You want to give a little assistance to a new person doing a new job. But here's the thing. With all due respect to Lou Lamoriello, the one thing that the team's determination not to bring him back and to hire a new GM and president of hockey operations, the whole thing about it was that you're turning the page on an old era which had run its course and starting fresh. And while I would have no objection to whoever the new GM is going to be, whether he's both president of hockey operations and the GM, or you get two separate guys to do those two jobs. There's nothing stopping these people from calling Lou Lamoriello and saying, hey, Lou, I have a question. This is happening. How would you handle it? Or what do you think about it? Hey, whether Lou was working for the Islanders or not, that option always exists if Lou is willing to take the phone call. But by moving on from Lou Lamoriello, what ownership needs to understand is how badly this fan base needed a fresh start, a new direction. How many people have I heard from on social media, in direct messages or emails, saying to me, either I or a good friend of mine has season tickets, and the Islanders sales reps called me up and asked me if I was renewing and tried to sell me on new tickets and a new plan, and I or my friend said to them, I'm not renewing as long as Lou Lamoriello is still the GM. To keep Lou on the payroll, to have him influence the direction of the next person who is the general manager of this team, is not what the fans want, and it's really not what this team needs. If you're going to have a breakup, okay, the best way to do it is to do it clean. Do not break up and then hook up, or break up and then go out on dates with your ex. No. If it's over, it's over. And with Lou Lamoriello right now, it was past due time to be over. And if you look at the way Lou handled this team, bringing back the same core and just trying to tweak a little bit each offseason, and I do mean a little bit, it just wasn't working at all. And to me, the last straw ultimately was at the trade deadline this past March, when it was one of the best sellers markets in the history of, in recent memory, okay? Like, the trade deadline goes back roughly to 1980, when, the first big trade deadline acquisition was actually Butch Goring. That was sort of the model for all the other trade deadlines, when the Islanders and Bill Torrey acquired Butch Goring. But let's face it, when Lou Lamoriello wanted to re-sign both Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri, when the price for those two players, I mean, you saw what Lou got for Brock Nelson, and I give him credit for getting as much as he did, but it was only after Brock Nelson forced his hand and said, you know what? Your offer, which was reported to be 3 years at $7 million per, I want to test the market, Brock said. And I'll take it a step further. Brock Nelson was the team's MVP last year for forcing Lou's hand, for saying to Lou, I'm hitting the market. Either you trade me now or you lose me for nothing. And the fact that Lou offered Brock Nelson at his age and at this team's stage of development a 3-year deal at $7 million per, it was the wrong approach for this team going forward. That kind of move, re-signing Brock and Kyle Palmieri, and no disrespect, I like both of them as players, but that's how you stay stuck in the muddy middle. As the core gets older and you're spending $7 million a year on Brock Nelson, and look, Brock Nelson may have given you one good year at 25 to 30 goals. Maybe not even that, we don't know. But over the course of that contract, he gets older, he slows down. The odds, and again, he could be the exception to the rule, but the odds are that each year of that 3-year deal would have less productivity coming from Brock as he gets into his mid to upper 30s. This team right now needs to send a message to the fans, to the players, to everybody associated with the league that this is a fresh start. This is a new era in Islanders hockey. And keeping Lou Lamoriello on the payroll as an advisor, for those of you listening rather than watching, I put that in air quotes. It sends the wrong message. If there's a young guy and you want to take a chance on a young general manager, even if that person is going to be both president of hockey operations and GM, it's a gamble, but it's a gamble worth taking. There is nothing stopping that person from calling Lou Lamoriello for advice or calling anybody who he knows for advice. But having Lou and his specter, the ghost of Lou Lamoriello hanging over this franchise is the wrong message to send to the fans. It's the wrong message to send to whoever the new general manager is going to be. And it is basically another way to stick with what hasn't been working over the last 4 years. In the last 4 years, the Islanders have missed the playoffs twice and barely made the playoffs and been eliminated handily in the first round the other 2 times. You need to turn the page. And moving on from Lou Lamoriello and getting this first overall pick, in the last 3 weeks, we have seen more optimism and excitement from Islander fans than we have seen in the last 3 years. Don't mess it up by keeping Lou around on the payroll, in the office, having him hang around there. I respect Lou Lamoriello. I have nothing against him as a person at all. I think he's in the Hall of Fame for a reason, but it's the wrong message at the wrong time and a wrong step to keep him around in that capacity. You want to employ him in some other capacity, be my guest, but to me, having him hanging around the front office is not the way to go. We'll see, whether or not this pans out, what happens, how the search continues. And don't forget, as soon as a GM is announced, we'll have a show, whether it's on the weekend or not. But right now, I am not happy hearing that is a real possibility. And hopefully the Islanders do not move in that direction. We have got a lot more to discuss. The Islanders made an announcement about this year's draft and an event for next year. We'll talk about that. We'll review Semyon Varlamov's year and his future outlook with the team. And for our Islanders' birthday of the day, a former number 1 pick who plays defense, who is still active in the NHL this year. Let's see if you can guess who that is. All that and more on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire Stick TV 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With 4K streaming, you could watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. Plus, you can play high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. Already have a console? A Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easy to travel with, allowing you to take you or your kids' games wherever you plug in. Head to amazon.com/FireTV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. It's available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. Amazon Fire TV. Check it out today. Today's episode is also brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen at other sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. I've been in that spot when you need to hire like yesterday. The pressure is on, and every day without the right person is a setback. That's exactly when Indeed Sponsored Jobs comes in handy. They make sure that your post is seen by the right candidates right now. Now you could speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need. So the Islanders made some announcements on Thursday. And, these are good announcements, I think. No complaints about them. John Ledecky, who generally is the one who speaks at these, representing ownership, basically did not make an announcement about the president of hockey operations or the general manager, but season ticket holders received information Thursday evening about two events coming up. First of all, 5:00 p.m., June 27th, which is when the NHL draft round 1 will take place. The Islanders are having a draft viewing party at the UBS Arena. The email states it's a wonderful way to spend a summer evening supporting your favorite team. More details will follow. Look, the Islanders did in the past have draft parties at the Nassau Coliseum. I remember when they took John Tavares the last time they had the first overall pick back in 2009. What a great event it was at the Nassau Coliseum. Fans were there. They were very enthusiastic. Obviously, with Lou Lamoriello trading away 4 straight first-round picks, having a draft party really didn't make a lot of sense. But now, well, let's just say it makes a lot of sense to have it. So looking forward to that. And it should be a great event for fans as they find out who the Islanders are going to pick with the first overall choice in this year's draft. Then a little more information was given regarding what's going to happen to replace the now lost All-Star game. The announcement said, coming February 2026, UBS Arena will be hosting the first ever Winter Olympics kickoff event. Many of the best players in the NHL will be in the building ahead of their trip to Milan, and it should be a one-of-a-kind experience. Then it continues. We are also proud to announce to be welcoming the NHL back to the UBS Arena in early 2027 for another marquee NHL event. Stay tuned for more. So whether it's the 2027 All-Star Game or if they're going to do another tournament similar to Four Nations, and everydayers, you'll recall, I said having the Islanders host a Four Nations tournament in the future would be the perfect way for the NHL to make up for yanking the All-Star Game out from under the feet of the New York Islanders organization, or whether it's some other event. Obviously, if they're talking early 2026, or not 2027, excuse me, we're not talking about the draft. So the Islanders hosting the draft, probably not the direction that this is going to go in. But as far as the Islanders getting either an all-star game a year later or hosting a Four Nations type of tournament. All of those things remain on the table, and now we have to wait and see what the next announcement is going to be. Hopefully, we learn fairly quickly how this is going to play out, and I think management has an incentive to act quickly, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, there's buzz right now surrounding the first overall pick and hopefully a brand new general manager. All of that will be happening within the next 6-7 weeks. And then free agency a few days later will start. And the Islanders should have plenty of cap space with the ability to create more. So again, lots of reason for optimism. But for those season ticket holders who were very disappointed about losing the All-Star game, and I do know there were some season ticket holders who renewed their season tickets because of the opportunity to purchase tickets to an All-Star game, making that announcement sooner rather than later gives fans yet another reason to either renew their season tickets or purchase season tickets. So whether it's the All-Star game or a Four Nations style tournament or some other major event, it makes sense for the Islanders to try to announce it. I would say, let's say before the summer is out, before training camp gets underway, and we'll see whether or not the team actually, when they make that announcement. But something is clearly brewing, and it sounds like whatever it is, it should be good news for the Islanders, their season ticket holders, and fans in general, seeing some kind of a major event coming to the island. And look, whatever this kickoff event is right before the Olympics, think of that now as a bonus if there's another All-Star game or a Four Nations tournament or something else coming to Long Island, and you just have to wait 1 year for it. So it could be a win-win situation, and we will, of course, keep you posted here on the Locked On Islanders podcast. We have got more to discuss on today's show. We'll take a look at Semyon Varlamov's season and discuss his future with the Islanders and whether he can bounce back from the injury that cost him most of last year. We'll have that, our Islanders birthday of the day, and more next on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Hey, if you've got a read on who's heating up, why not back it up with a same-game parlay? How could a $200 bonus in bets add to the excitement? If your first $5 bet hits, it would be great. So, new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. That's $200 in bonus bets at FanDuel.com if your first $5 bet wins. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. So we continue our player-by-player look at the Islanders. We are now on our fifth player. We've done Matthew Barzal, everydayers will recall, Mark Gatcomb, Tony DeAngelo. We're going through this list, and Anthony Duclair. Those are the first four that we did. And today, Semyon Varlamov. And this was a rough season for Varley. And make no mistake, the injury to Varlamov was a big problem for the New York Islanders because he left right after American Thanksgiving. Late November was the last game he played, November 29th. After he was injured, the Islanders did not initially trust Marcus Hogberg. They did not trust Jakub Skarek when he was brought up. And essentially, for the second year in a row, they rode Ilya Sorokin heavily and he probably was a little worn down by the end of the season. So for Varley, he only started 10 games and played in 10 games. He went 3-4-3, had an 889 save percentage and a 2.89 goals against average. I am not going to, that's a low save percentage. Just a year ago, he had a 918 save percentage. His goals against average the previous season was 2.60. So, it went up by 0.29 goals per game. But it's such a small sample size, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and critique the season that was for Semyon Varlamov. In my mind, his grade is an incomplete. But I will say that the Islanders lost a lot when Varley left and was injured. And he is now 37 years old. At the exit interviews, Varlamov said he hopes to be ready for training camp. And let's hope for his sake that he is, and for the Islanders' sake. But if he is not, if this injury is career-threatening, and there were some rumors to that effect, although Varley tried to dispel them at Getaway Day, the Islanders need to find a backup goalie, a third goalie in this organization who they trust. Hogberg is under contract for one more year. But after he got injured, he was not the same. Now, whether that was because of the injury or it was just, him seeing more action and returning to the mean. He played lights out before the injury, but maybe looked a lot more like a third goalie in an organization after the injury. The Islanders have to make sure, whether it is Hogberg or someone else, if Varley returns, that they have someone behind him who they trust. Because at 37, look, I am a big fan of Semyon Varlamov, and I think as a backup goalie, when he's healthy, he's as good as it gets in this league. But if there's a problem, if he cannot return to form, you have to have an insurance policy on this team. If he's healthy, I anticipate 25 to 30 games for Varley. And hopefully he will be healthy and can return to form, because he is a strong backup goalie, or at least he was up until this injury. Let's hope we get more of the same from Semyon Varlamov in 2025-2026. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. And today is the 34th birthday of former Islanders defenseman Calvin DeHaan, the Carp, Ontario native, first-round pick of the Islanders in 2009, 12th overall pick. They had 2 first-round picks that year, if I recall correctly. Made his NHL debut with the Islanders for one game in 2011-2012, became a full-time player in 2013-2014, stayed on the island through 2017-2018, then played for Carolina, Chicago, Carolina again, Tampa Bay, Colorado, and the New York Rangers. Was still active this past year, splitting the season between the Avalanche and the Rangers. In his career so far, 679 games, 24 goals, 149 points, 249 penalty minutes, add a goal and 5 points in 38 playoff games, 3 assists in 16 games with the Islanders. One of his more memorable games as an Islander, April 10th, 2016, Islanders basically facing the Philadelphia Flyers. And in this game, well, it wasn't a great game for the New York Islanders. Islanders hosting the Flyers. Michael Neuwirth is the goalie for the Flyers. Thomas Greiss gets the start for the Islanders, but he didn't last. He was replaced in this game by Christopher Gibson. Islanders take a 2-0 lead on goals by Nikolai Kulemin and Matt Martin, but Calvin DeHaan assisted on both of them, along with Ryan Pollock. That gave the Islanders a 2-0 lead. Unfortunately, they fell 5-2, giving up 5 unanswered goals. But for Calvin DeHaan, the 2 assists were one of his better games. He was even in plus-minus and had 2 shots on goal in 16 minutes and 46 seconds of ice time. Solid depth defenseman, second or third pair defenseman, two-way defenseman, good in his own zone, Calvin DeHaan. He is our Islanders' birthday of the day. Thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL. It's on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. If you have a question, a comment, maybe a topic you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, email us at lockedonislanders@gmail.com. If you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we discuss whatever's on your mind. You could follow the show on X at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on X at Ice Wars, NYR, VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all things Islanders all off season long. And it's always great to talk Islanders hockey with you. Game time or anytime. We will be back Monday, everydayers. We'll have the latest on the GM search and any other Islanders news, notes, and happenings. We'll also continue our player-by-player analysis of this year's team. And look, if there is a major announcement over the weekend, we will have a show sooner, and we'll certainly have a 1-minute video to discuss any breaking news. So look for that on YouTube as well if it happens. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe. And of course, let's go Islanders.